So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jean Sun, and I'm the co-president of the class of 2014, along with Kia Nicholson. It is my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, our 2014 commencement speaker, Ms. Madeleine Stowe. She is a fellow USC graduate, a Golden Globe nominee, a humanitarian leader in Haiti, and also ranked number 5 in People magazine's Most Beautiful People in the World. Ms. Stowe has a remarkable story of success and ambition, coupled with humility, generosity, and activism. Ms. Stowe, we are honored to have you join us during this momentous occasion. It is our great pleasure to have you grace the halls of USC once again. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Madeleine Stowe.
Well, wow, okay. Thank you, Jean. It was very kind. Provost Garrett, Executive Vice Provost Quick, Dean Poliafito, who I heard was doing a little catch-up on a certain nighttime soap opera. I know what you're up to. You're trying to embarrass me, you sly one. And my wonderful friend, Dr. Henri Ford. I always like to put the Henri before the Ford. Dr. Henri Ford. I don't know, it sounds kind of regal or something. Thank you for inviting me here to share this day with you and the Keck School of Medicine class of 2014. So, a long time ago, I figured out that the world was made up of 2 groups, those who give speeches and those who don't. I fall in group 2. Dr. Ford, where are you? Oh, there you are. You are so going to regret this. David, what a magnificent address, and thank you for paving the way for me to be the nadir of this important ceremony. But I'm not worried. Nah. Normally I'd pass out in a situation like this, but I have taken so many beta blockers that I don't even know who I am. Why are you all dressed like this? Red and gold, baby. Ooh. Somebody got caught, and I'm about to get onto this. Just help me. Okay.
There you go.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't earn that gown, and I'll explain why. Well, the class of 2014, congratulations on your exceptional achievements. You are in it now, right? No turning back. All that dough ponied up, spent on your education, kept you out of the real world, didn't it, you crafty buggers? Your parents all proud about your futures and running around talking about your upcoming residencies and future, whatever you call them, saying, my daughter, the thoracic surgeon, my son, the gynecologist. We women wonder about you guys and that little fascination of yours. Seriously. Yes, you are in it now. You'll never again have a conversation with anyone who won't want to get your opinion on their dipsomania or their frozen shoulder. You're going to be cornered, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I'm not a doctor, but here's a little bit of irony for you. I attended this USC place for 1 year. I didn't graduate. I went to class, God, it must have been 6 or 7 times. I was the chick who wasn't there. I never saw my semester grades because I figured, why bother? You guys, slaving away, drinking oceans of coffee, God knows what chemicals you've been ingesting. I can smell the Adderall from here. I skipped every class, squandered my $7,500 tuition, which included room and board, and ultimately became Brad Pitt's psychiatrist. And Bruce Willis's psychiatrist in the same movie. It's nothing to it. I highly recommend it. But no, you had to go through all the shedding of blood, sweat, and tears, all that training. Well, it's too late for you now. I did have post-freshman bad dreams at Hanami for 20 years. You know, the recurring one where you're forced back into the classroom and you have heart palpitations and this naughty dread and wondering how you're going to come out of school alive and who you'll have to kill in admissions, whoever put you there in the first place. Those dreams stopped, though, after I started having bad ones about taking meetings with Robert De Niro, true story. But long after I figured I'd never set foot in school again, here I am, courtesy of Dr. Ford, who invited me to join you on this wonderful day. And if there's one thing you and I both understand, this is that you do not say no to the big guy. God, this is so weird. A lot of you may be wondering what the biggest bitch in television is doing with you and what we have in common. Now, I have a small inkling, but the truth, I feel like your village idiot for the day because I don't have your smarts and I never will. That's a simple fact. Being an actor, no matter what pop culture and web obsession may have knocked into your heads, is a vainglorious pursuit. It can be great, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, if you're really lucky, you'll find moments of the sublime, and it's the addiction to the hunt, the perfect moments when all of these intangible moving parts interlock and form something surprising that keep me doing what I do. And I say this with a strong hunch that you may have experienced the aforementioned in your own pursuits. But here's why you're unique and why what you do matters. You're healers. Easing and eradicating pain and suffering, solving their mysteries, using hard evidence and gut instinct is a vocation. It is not a job, no matter how much you may feel like it is at times. It is a true calling. You are so lucky because most of us struggle in life to ever find one. We all have a story that precedes this moment in time, and they may be part of why we're here together. I don't know. Without going all dark and dragging you into my vortex, which is a place you do not want to visit, trust me. Especially on this joyous day, indulge me while I tell you a small part of mine and explain why I'm at this podium. Many years ago, when I was about 5, and I was the eldest of 3 children, my dad was struck by a disease that pretty much decimated him. He quickly lost his ability to walk, to speak, to think clearly, and perhaps worst of all, to remember. I wouldn't accept how altered he'd become because I'm kind of pig-headed that way. I always have been. So by the time I was 6 or 7, I learned to fight with him. I wanted him to stand up, oftentimes pulling him up, this 6-foot man, by his belt, neither understanding nor believing that he couldn't get to his feet. It wasn't fair to him. But it was always a contest of wills, and small victories meant a lot. And when I went to bed at night, I dreamed of bigger ones. I remember going to visit his doctors with him, and each time their door opened and they walked in, I'd read their faces searching for answers and holding on to their calm and kindness, even if we knew that they didn't have a cure for my dad's condition. There still isn't a cure for what he had. But they patiently answered a young girl's questions. And sometimes the way they looked us in the eye, the way they tried to make my dad comfortable and ease our worst fears was enough to carry our family through. And that meant a lot. It meant that we weren't invisible, we weren't insignificant, and that we had value. And I am, to this day, grateful to them. We were also incredibly lucky because we lived in a time where there were strong social safety nets. And because of this, our family, if I was able to hover somewhere in the middle class, with a faith that we could still imagine limitless futures. This faith, for good or for bad, depending on who you talk to, toughened me, and I learned to love a good fight. Things have changed for Americans over the years. The safety nets are more fragile now than they have ever been, and I doubt that the privileges that we were given back then would exist today. Now, I don't have to tell you what you already know. There are huge challenges, unimaginable ones, coming to healthcare in the next 10 years. One thing I know is that with clear hearts, great ingenuity, effort, and you, this exceptionally talented bunch, you guys can meet whatever's thrown your way head on. You're all here today because you've proven that you're tougher than hell. You couldn't be here if you accepted the words, I can't, you live by, I will. Remember that. And when life inevitably tries you, don't ever back down. Class of 2014. You guys get me? All right. As medical practitioners, if I ask you to make one choice, Pick the good fight. And with your articulate voices, be the leaders who steer us out of this hole and bring us back into the light where the hurting, the frightened, and the marginalized can feel safe again. Bring back the security my family was given for those who need it now. Your passion and advocacy may be the most powerful weapon this country has. Don't ever underestimate it. Strong health care is the foundation of a decent society. It is the fundamental right that preserves human dignity. If we don't have that, what are we? So since we're talking about fighting, I want to say a little something about Haiti. It's a place where Dr. Ford was born and where I've worked since before the quake actually, with an extraordinary all-Haitian grassroots team. They serve 400,000 people every year who are living in extreme poverty and treat nearly 300,000 inpatients yearly between two hospitals. They put their lives on the line every single day. And when I think about Haiti, whose systemic problems seem insurmountable, I shove defeatist thoughts away and fasten my belief onto my Haitian brothers and sisters who accomplish daily miracles in a country with little infrastructure. Dr. Ford so often says, failure is not an option. Your boss and mentor has battled for and finally won permission from the Haitian government to construct a major national trauma critical care hospital. This is a huge achievement. His team has pulled out the stops and pulled in donors and talent committed to taking the huge first step for Haiti. And let me tell you, there were naysayers all along the way, but Dr. Ford and his team refused to give up. Why? Because like those of you who've joined him on those many trips to Haiti, we've witnessed families fight for their right to survive. How do they exercise this right? This is how my friend Wynne in Haiti says it. Parents who live in makeshift shacks, floodwater sweeping through their homes, hold their babies in the air so they might sleep peacefully. That's grace. Haitian mothers walk for hours, leaving well before daybreak, putting themselves in harm's way just to make an appointment for their child at the hospital of the organization where I serve. That's courage. Haitian women spend all day selling goods at the market, and the men labor under blistering sun, trying to earn enough to bring home something to eat. That's determination. Haitians are also doctors and nurses with problems of their own, still courageously absorbing the pain and struggles of their patients. For them, and you'll soon find out for you, life and moving forward is a daily game of inches. There's a new term being thrown around by the media. It's called Grieve Ability, as if grief could ever be quantified. What it comes down to, Wynne said, is that a mother is a mother and her child is a child, and the word Grieve Ability means nothing to her and never will. It means that the world and the way it's organized can be strange and terribly flawed, but that the heart of a parent and child is neither. I've been blessed with the most random good fortune, and I've also made a lot of mistakes in my life, too many. There have been long moments when I've been ashamed of myself, wasting precious time, that's a big one. I finally realized one day that I didn't like myself, not at all. And as I got older, I knew that loss was around the corner and that life is just too short to mess around. But just as loss is inevitable, renewal and faith are possible if you open your eyes and your heart to them. Trust in the goodness of people. You trust in their dreams. You trust in their ideas. You trust when taking the next step, guided by the principles you've used to all these years, including the humility to listen to somebody else, and that in doing so, it will lead you to a good place, no matter what. Patients will come to you with big and small questions. You'll have answers for some of them a lot of the time, but you'll also find moments where you won't know what to say or what to do, and you'll have to make one of two choices. They're hard decisions. You'll either look your patient in the eye and tell them you can't help them, or you go the distance on a hunch, Give them encouragement, buy a little time, and fake it. Fake your way upwards, find your team until you see a small patch of blue in that ominous sky, and you fly your plane right through it till you reach the answers. Then the whole world will open up to you again. I want to close by passing along a final quote. It was actually on my daughter's high school essay. She was applying for college, where she's going to go next year. And she quoted a great man. He is a Catholic priest and a doctor. His name is Father Richard Frechette. He's dedicated every day of his life to the fight for human dignity during the 26 years in Haiti that he has spent. And this is what he says. You have a limited number of heartbeats in your life. It's a finite number. You have a limited number of steps you're going to take in your life. It's a finite number. It can be calculated. What is your heart beating for? What are your steps taking you to? Class of 2014, congratulations on this hard-earned moment. It has been a privilege to be with you today. Thank you.
So, Madeleine, thank you for a very heartfelt and meaningful address. When Dr. Ford nominated you on behalf of the class for this commencement speech, we looked into everything you've done in Haiti, and a small group of us at the medical school elected to present you with the Keck School of Medicine Humanitarian Service Award. And Dr. Ford and I would like to present this to you. And the citation is in recognition of your work on behalf of the children of Haiti and Artists for Peace and Justice. And we're all counting our steps and measuring our heartbeats. What a great...
Thank you all.
Thank you.